All right. Welcome to Fun Friday. Fun Friday is the day where we just kind of mess around with AI or systems or process documentation or delegation, things like that. And the cool thing about this is that it allows you to experiment with what's possible with AI. And I will share with you things that I use AI for that allow me to move into different marketing ideas, move into different lead generation ideas, even different business models and so on that I can move my company into, or maybe have like a little side business, things like that. As an entrepreneur, you obviously want to avoid shiny object syndrome, but sometimes little ideas can make a little bit of a difference for you or your family or things like that. So the whole purpose of this day is to just mess around with AI and with systems and business and so on. All right. But before we get into that, you know what? I will actually keep me up here for just a second. Before we get into that, my name is Dean Soto. I am the founder and president of Prosulum, Prosulum, and we are a virtual staffing agency. We have a real, I wouldn't call them virtual assistants, but that's what they're typically known by traditionally, is real human people who can work for you remotely. But the difference is we call them virtual systems architects. You give a typical virtual assistant a task and you're going to have to monitor them. You're going to have to keep on training them. Maybe you'll send them a video. Maybe, it's not scalable. And with a virtual systems architects, you give them that same task and they will document it step by step. And then they will do the task. And then you give them another task, they document it, they'll do the task, give them another task. Eventually you have a standard operating procedure, step by step with pictures, so easy that your grandma could do the task from here on out, to the point where after a certain amount of days, maybe 30 days or less, if you just kept on going at it, you would have a fully functional standard operating system documented that allows your entire business to work without you. And you can go on vacation, you can do whatever you want, and your business will run without you because they're not asking you how to do something. It's already in a step-by-step, boom, boom, boom. This is how we do it. And you're scalable. You're scalable from then on out. So that's what I do. But now with the advent of AI, there's a lot of really cool things you can do with AI and virtual systems architects and employees and regular virtual assistants and software. So let's mess around. So one of the things that came out recently, and a lot of people either love it or hate it. The people that I found that hate it are people who necessarily don't really run a business. They're kind of like you'll see a lot of gurus out there. I've talked about this in videos before this. Gurus that are like, hey, yeah, this is the AI killer. This is the ChatGPT killer. You have this one thing and it's going to run your entire business and so on and so forth. And so when they try to use what I'm about to share, they tend to try to make it do everything 100%. And that's just not going to work. It's pretty much not going to work for any AI, big LLM software out there. And what I'm talking about is ChatGPT's Agent Mode. Now, Agent Mode is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. It can allow you to do things with AI that you would not have been able to do otherwise. And I've done some crazy things with it that have made me money, that have helped me in a variety of different ways. Okay, so let's get into Agent Mode. And one of the things I just want to, this is going to be a quick creative tip. This is how I've used it, and we'll just go from there. So first things first, let me go back up here just so I can do some things in the background because I want to make sure it's all good. So for me, as an introvert, I'm definitely an introvert. As an introvert, one of the hardest things for me with business in general was one of the hardest things for me with business in general is that it's very difficult for me to market because it requires a lot of that extrovert kind of view of the world. Obviously there's introverts that are able to do it, but it just never worked for me. And so how I use this is to do two things. I'm going to do two things in parallel. The first is I want to find some new business ideas, and from a marketer standpoint, let's say this is a side business where I could generate some side income. I want to be able to utilize a space. In this case, we'll use Craigslist. See what's available, what's out there. And from a marketing, sales, entrepreneur standpoint, what are some of the opportunities? And for me, I typically don't have that mindset going on all the time. And so I'd rather have somebody who's like a business partner who has that skill set, who wants to go out and do that, find these opportunities. The other is market research from what trade shows or networking events can I go to that are not just like your standard, what's that called? Not your standard mixer or things like that, where I'm not going to really meet my target audience. All right. And so in this case, let's do both of these. Okay. And we're going to have them running at the same time. So let me get this back. We're going to start with the mixer, not the mixer, the networking events. So I've uploaded a text file. This is a .md file. It's a markdown file, but you can do a text file. You can do a PDF, things like whatever can get, you can put in there. But I'm going to put my ideal client profile into here. Okay. So that it knows who my ideal client profile is and things about my business. And I have agent mode selected. So you click on here, and you select agent mode. I think this is available for free. You might have to have the plus version. I have the team version. I noticed that it's $60 for the team, and you get 2 accounts, and you can do almost what's in the pro which normally would cost like $200 a month. So I just use the team version, and I'll go in between each account. All right. So what I want to do is I want to find trade shows or meetups or let's say networking events. Let's say opportunities to network. Based on the attached ICP. I am looking. How do I want to say this? Because you can talk to it in plain English, but you want to give specifics with this. So I'm going to actually write it out real quick. I'm going to pause this so you don't have to see me write, and then I'll show you when it's all said and done. Okay, so starting with the meetup / trade show, this is what I said. So details, research the attached ICP file. You don't have to have that. Generally, if I don't have something like this, which I had my agent actually create a while ago, is you can just say research your website. Okay. And it'll go and it'll actually research your website. It'll research like what you do, you'll find client testimonials, things like that. And then I say find at least 10 trade shows and 10 networking events where my ideal client will be and where I could effectively generate leads and strategic partnerships. Location, Fresno County, or I'll say or Tulare County. Date range of event August 23rd, which is tomorrow, 2025, to December 31st, 2026. So this way you have a spread of time. And then I want to evaluate the relevance on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being like the most relevant, and then give your reasoning as to why a representative from our company should attend for lead generation purposes. And then the output is going to be an Excel spreadsheet with the following columns: event name, event location, event start date, event end date, event description, event URL, and then event relevance score of 1 to 10, and then reasons to attend. Okay. And at the end, I'll say act as a marketing and lead generation expert. Be creative. I always do be creative because then it'll give even more. I like doing be creative because it gives it license to add things that I forgot. You can even say be creative and add anything I may be missing. Okay. And then we're going to click go. So it's going to go and do its thing. It's going to set up its desktop and it's going to go out and crush it. Okay. So you'll see it starting to do its thing here and so on and so forth. Pretty cool. So while that's going on, let's go and I'm going to pause this real quick and we're going to set up another agent. So you can actually close this while that's going. I'm going to set up another agent that's going to go and search Craigslist for some cool ideas. And by cool ideas, I mean cool ideas for a business. All right, cool. So actually, I had done this a little while ago. And so we'll just use this, but you can do this in Los Angeles. You can do this whatever. I just had to search the Fresno Craigslist. What I like doing, so one of the things that made me a good amount of money before was like flipping products and finding things that people would give away for free, and then you can flip them on Amazon or eBay and things like that. The cool thing about the agent mode, it'll use its own browser to do whatever it needs to do, right? And so I said, hey, go to the Fresno Craigslist website and come up with 5 different ways for me to make money. Don't make it something obvious like selling a service like IT work or anything like that. It should be something where I can buy or get something for free and flip it for a good amount of cash. Something that can make between $10,000 to $100,000 per month. It needs to be creative in the sense of something that an average person wouldn't think of doing, and something that can actually be done as of today's date. Something also that does not have any large regulations attached to it. Something that's not going to be unethical or illegal. Something that I can either invest a small amount of cash or I can get it for free and flip it for bigger gains. And when I say small amount of cash, I mean something $5,000 or less. I don't mind flipping something that is up to $5,000 as long as it's something that actually works. Be creative, and it doesn't have to be flipping anything. The only thing I don't want to do is offer a service or try to get a gig or try to get a job or anything like that. I want something that's very entrepreneurial, something that can be preferably systematized and turned into a process. Okay, so I had done this. What is this? 2 days ago, and here is the report. Okay, so it worked for about 9 minutes. It did 15 searches and has 138 sources. Pretty dang good, yeah. So the first thing it suggested was pallet and packaging supply business. Okay, so sourcing the free stuff section in Fresno County, Craigslist regularly advertises free pallets and shipping boxes. One post from May 2025, updated in August 2025, says they have a large amount of small to large cardboard boxes with pallets available. So basically, it's find shipping boxes and pallets, and then you can sell those pallets. It says right here, according to an industry article, you can sell those pallets anywhere between $5 to $20 each. Low overhead because it's free. And the same source notes that selling 100 pallets per week at $10 yields about $1,000 in revenue. And scaling to 500 pallets a week significantly increases earnings. Okay, so that's one. The other one I didn't like too much because I've done Amazon book flipping before. This you get basically free used books. This one's from in the Bay Area. You can get a bunch of free used books there, and you can flip them on Amazon. I actually don't think that that's a good. You're going to be holding those books for a long time, and out of those 10,000 books, maybe there's a few that are going to give you a good margin after all of the fees and things like that. I highly doubt you're going to be able to do Amazon FBA because you're going to have to pay a lot of storage fees and things like that too. So I'm going to skip that one. Then refurbish and flip free appliances. There are a lot of free appliances that are especially in LA. Any Bay Area, LA, any big city, you're gonna have people, especially in rich areas, giving away free appliances, free things like that. And then you can take them to. You can either have someone repair them if you can check and see if it's working. Great. If you having someone repair them for free, you can repair it and then sell it at a profit, and that's totally doable. Not up my alley. Scrap metal, you can do scrap metal. Not really up my alley either. If you're in the ag area, you can turn orchard wood into premium firewood. You would have to season it, but it is definitely possible. A lot of people in Fresno over here buy firewood, especially up in the ag, up in the hills, need seasoned firewood because a lot of them have wood stoves. So you can definitely sell that firewood for sure. We have a lot of bull pines up here, and those bull pines, like, you don't want to use them for firewood. They're a mess. And so oaks, things like that is generally what we do up here. But being able to go and cut down for free, and you can haul it away, season them, and just have the cycle of that, you can totally do that for sure. And so almond and peach can sell for $400 to $600 per cord. So this is in my general area, and pretty cool what you're able to do. So that being said, let's go back. So for me, one here, this pallet and packing supply business, totally doable for some extra cash. And then this one right here, the orchard into premium firewood, can do that as well. But yeah, that is a pretty cool little idea. Personally, I would probably redo this to mention like more along real estate, maybe flipping manufactured homes or something like that. Something that that would be more like a bigger investment, but a bigger return. I don't know, something like that. So let me pause this and we'll go back to our other thing. Okay, so it's still working. And it's still, so right now it's just analyzing the ICP file for Prosulum. And I'll pause it until it's done. All right, so it worked for 23 minutes, which is crazy to think of that it just was working like that. And it said that it focused on Prosulum's ideal client profiles, which targets scaling content creators, high growth professional services, and so on and so forth. So it said key observations. It actually targeted home, garden, and agricultural trade shows, which at first I was like, what, really? And then, in fact, it's actually pretty accurate because a lot of the agricultural, there's a lot of agricultural tech. And so they're used to actually using systems and scaling and things like that, but not necessarily remote workers, which is a kind of like a good blue ocean. I didn't even think about that, which is cool. So it says things like the World Ag Expo were prioritized because they attract hundreds of vendors and tens of thousands of attendees. It's true. This is something that I might actually consider even having like a booth in. These shows provide access to contractors, service providers, and multi-location ag businesses that need documented workflows and efficient operations, which was really cool. So it gives the reasoning behind them, and then eventually it gives the actual spreadsheet. So if I were to let's see if I can, I don't know if I can zoom in on this. Yeah, I can. Let me see. Let me download this quick. I'll pause this and I'll put it into Google Sheets. All right, cool. So Fresno. So this is the sheet that was made. Pull these out a little bit here. We can even wrap these. We'll put this and pull this out. Okay, so let's do format. Then we'll do text wrapping. Just wrap. Put that like that. All right, cool. So let's just take. I'm gonna take one that's more of on the relevance scale of 9 or 8 or 9. So for Spring Fresno Home Garden Show, this one says, so it's 20, so it's Spring Fresno Home and Garden Show, and let me see if I can actually make this even bigger for you guys. 2026 Fresno Fairgrounds. So it's the 3rd through the 8th. Sorry, not the 3rd through the 8th. It's March 6th through March 8th, 2026. It's California's largest and most anticipated home garden show. Obviously, it's going to be gardening workshops, tiny home tours, things like tours and things like that. This would be, I don't know if I would go to this and have a booth. I would probably reach out to the people who would be vendors in this, actually, and ahead of time. I would actually make this into like a cold email list, because I know that those vendors are attending that, and I can use that as like a cold email outreach. The reason why it's saying, so it says this massive expo connects Prosulum with hundreds of vendors and thousands of attendees, including multi-location home service providers and artisans who need streamlined operations. Okay, so that's cool. The next one was the World Ag Expo. The reason that it gave a 9, so dates on this is February 10th, 2026 through February 2nd. Sorry, February 2nd. February 12th, 2026. And it's in Tulare, California. And I love that it gives the link, obviously. The reasoning here is the expo brings together large farms, ag tech companies, and professional services firms with complex multi-location operations. This I would consider actually having a booth here, because they're always looking to drop their overhead, right? So that $20 an hour person that they're paying gets cut in half, and they also get their workflows and things like that documented as well. So that's pretty cool. Let's see a couple of other ones. Senior Day. I was wondering, I saw this one pop up as it was working. Seniors Day in Lifestyle Expo at the Big Fresno Fair. I was like, wait, what? So this is October 10th, 2025. And it has the link to it. Special day at the fair where seniors receive free admission until 1 p.m. The Lifestyle Expo allows companies to reach older adults and those assisting them. Booths, so it's interesting because the booths here would be like estate planners, and financial advisors, which I do have those as clients, and I did not think about that at all. And while this is relevance of a 5, CPAs, event wealth managers, I've had people who are in that space as really, really good long-term clients. And so that is an interesting thing I'm not sure how I would go about reaching them there. I would not get like a booth there, but that's pretty dang cool. So then Startup Fest. Ooh, this is good. I need to see that. Startup Fest 2026, Fresno, Cali, venue to be determined. This is April 10th, 2026. And that's Startup Fest there. Startup founders, micro business owners attending the expo is precisely the type of clients who needs help systemizing operations and scaling, participating as a sponsor or mentor positions, Prosulum as a strategic partner for growth. That's pretty dang cool. That is really, really cool. That is neat. So you can see how you can, so a total of 20, it was able to find 23 different places nearby. And if I wanted to expand this to like LA, or if I wanted to travel somewhere, then there would be a lot more, right? These are like after hours business things, not really gonna go to like those little mixers, but that's pretty dang cool. Let's see, Central California Women's Conference, can definitely do that. And then Dev Fest Fresno, Build with AI. That would be a good one, especially maybe getting a booth at that one. But you can see with this would have cost quite a bit of money for me to have somebody do for me, and just with a little bit of guidance, I was able to get a whole list of places that I can either get a booth at, or I could reach out ahead of time, cold email, or I can even reach out ahead of time and say, hey, I'm going to be attending this. I would love to meet up as something like that. That's pretty powerful. 23, I got the dates, so I can have this entered into my calendar. I could have either one of my AI assistants or an actual assistant reach out to the vendors that are here, set up meeting times for strategic partnerships, things like that. It's pretty powerful what you're able to do. And so that's just with one query, and it was able to go out and get all of this information for me, which is pretty dang cool. So mess around it's Fun Friday. Mess around with ChatGPT Agent Mode, and you will find that it is, if you give it an exact flow of what you want and what you need, it can do some very powerful things, as you can see. So this is Dean Soto. Go check out, if you want a virtual systems architect, if you want somebody who can develop systems for you and do the task, and they are a fraction of the cost of even an entry level high school student, but they have like college experience and they're freaking rock, go to www.prosulum.com/schedule, www.prosulum.com/schedule, and you can get on the phone and we can see if it's the right fit. So this is Dean Soto. I'll see you in the next video.